Good evening, and welcome to the HideNet Sunday Night Week in Review Market Report. My name is Don Oshman, Editor-in-Chief and Publisher of HideNet Market Reports. Tonight we're from Hong Kong, where we've just finished a very successful HideNet International Interactive Leather Forum. And those of you who couldn't see it live, you can watch it on video. It'll be ready in the near future, and we'll let you know about it. It's fun to get everybody together here in Hong Kong. We're on the eve of the Hong Kong Asia Pacific Leather Fair, which starts tomorrow morning. This is Sunday night in Hong Kong, albeit it's Sunday morning in other parts of the world. And the general feeling in the people we spoke with at our forum today and at a reception put on by Ashalta this evening was that everybody expects the prices to go down. But having said that, let's go to our European report, where our editor says that tanners have lost their appetite for Latin hides because of the price, and of course the import duty and the real and the lira, not the lira, and the euro. And that's hurting Latin American hides into Europe. Also in Italy, which is the main European consumer of hides, as you all know, everybody's waiting and watching for Hong Kong. In fact, around the world, everybody's waiting and watching what's going to happen in Hong Kong. But nobody is optimistic on price. There was a fair, the Italians went to a fair in Obai, I don't know how to say that, Obai in Moscow this last week. Very disappointed, very few customers, very few orders. And these certain segment of the Italian footwear market counts on Russian business, and it's just about all vanished now. In the UK, British ox sold at $1.70 to $1.75, that's pounds, down to 2 to 4 cents from last week, and that's the ox. That's as good. The Chinese appetite for European cows seems to have waned a little bit. Again, everything seems to kind of be going on hold for Hong Kong to see what's going to happen here in the next 3 days or 2.5 days even. Good quantity of southern German bulls sold at $2.30 a euro. This is all delivered Italian tannery. And the northern bull is less in demand, and prices were about 20 to 25 cents at euro cents below the southern bulls. North America this week, prices were generally steady, although there were some drips and drabs, some prices going lower on certain selections of steers. And cows were basically steady. As I started to say before, our International Interactive Leather Forum was terrific. We had Dietrich T-Meyer from Laxness. We had John Clark, CEO of Prime Asia, probably the tannery, one of the largest tanneries that makes leather for the Pao Chen, which is the world's largest footwear manufacturer. And Art Anker, in charge of all the raw material that goes in to get all those things. He's the senior vice president of Prime Asia. And we just had a terrific time because the very interesting. You can watch that on HideNet. We'll tell you how to get it on HideNet.com. About an hour of the video of that forum. And we had some leaders of the industry from about every major player was represented. And they had some good questions from the floor as well. HideNet is also at APLF this week. If somebody wants to get me, just send an email to info@HideNet.com and we'll try to find a way to meet each other. Packer margins were negative again this week. Very low slaughter. Continuing for the first quarter, it's the lowest slaughter in recorded history. And that hasn't kept the prices from going up, but it hasn't kept them maybe from going down too far. So the low slaughter, it's demand, but when you get low slaughter like we've had in the first quarter, it's got to have some effect. Pardon my itching. Combined export sales were 414,000, which is against the kill of about 525,000. So there were still more hides produced at these levels than were sold for export. Combined outstanding is down 4%, and combined shipments were up 14%. These shipments figures can be misleading because we have the West Coast port strike, where now it's letting things go. It's still tough to get containers from some shippers in North America, but stuff's starting to flow again, and therefore the shipments, which have been building up, have started to go to Asian customers. Cattle on feed, by the way, for March 1st was down 1%, but the most very interesting figure was that placements into feedlots, which means that these cattle will be available for slaughter in 4 to 6 months. That was down 8%. So everybody thinks that the kill's going to come back up considerably in the second quarter and third quarter. And based on these placements, but for sure by the third quarter, there's not going to be that many cattle available for packers to buy. And our forecast is for lower prices. I mean, we're coming into Hong Kong, and everybody we speak to in the last 6 hours here is lower prices. Well, we'll see what happens. Latin America this week, Brazilian fresh green prices were steady. Brazilian slaughters down, and that's had some positive effects on that market. TR1 Brazilians were quoted at $1.70. There was some a little bit less than that. Asking prices of $1.75 didn't have much of an effect. A slide in Argentine raw material as well. Packer hides are down there. Crust, some pressure on various types of crust. In our report this week, we have a preview on the CICB, all the Brazilian tanners who are exhibiting. And another story in this week's Latin American report, available in Spanish and in English, was that JBS has talked about taking their American division, and JBS USA, which counts JBS Montfort, used to be Montfort, Greeley in Greeley, Colorado, taking that public, and their American operations, and their other components like their poultry and so on and so forth. So that's just talked about. Forecast in Latin America, steady to lower. So that wraps it up for tonight. Again, we'll tell you all, at least by next week, and watch the HideNet.com website under my picture in these reports to click on the blue link, and you can watch the video of this terrific, very interesting leather forum we had. That's it for tonight. We will have more for you during the week from the fair, APLF, and we want to thank our sponsor for this wonderful forum we had was ALP, ALP Chemical Company out of India, and APLF for being a media sponsor. So thanks to ALP and thanks to APLF and thanks to you for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye.